Hi, I'm Coach Amber, and welcome to the Revero Success Story Podcast. Today, we have a very special guest with us, Tracey, and she will be discussing her success with a meat based diet. Welcome, Tracey.
Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. Okay, let's get to it. Before you started a meat based diet, can you give us a little bit of insight into what kind of health issues you were having, or was there anything going on that made you kind of want to go more meat based?
Yeah, when I turned 40 was the start of my foray into low carb. I was diagnosed as pre-diabetic. That was 6 years before I entered carnivore. So I had done the low carb, then I went keto, and then I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's when I was 46. And I had been following Dr. Shawn Baker for some time, and I had some clients who were really curious about carnivore. So I'd kind of been, watching and reading. First time I heard about Shawn was from my husband after he was on the Joe Rogan podcast. And, of course, I did the whole, what? I only eat meat? How ridiculous. Can't work, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so once I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's, which was a bit of a shock, it was just such an easy thing. I knew it straight away. I was going to do carnivore to help heal the condition.
Awesome. Okay, so how did you implement the diet? Like, what did you eat? What does a typical day look like? And did you have any transitional issues?
Yes. So I did the diet with some help with a naturopath, and I did take everything out for 3 months. So I took out dairy because I was eating the standard ketogenic diet. So it was quite high in dairy, high in oxalates, high in lectins. I took everything out. I even took eggs out, which turned out to be an issue for me. So the 3 months, none of it except for meat and water. And I did keep in coffee. So my naturopath was quite happy that coffee wasn't going to be an issue. So I was like, yeah, but I had to get used to black because I was so used to having cream in my coffee. So yes, I did. I did that for 3 months, and then I slowly started implementing just a few little things like eggs, minimal dairy. I was never going to go back to having much dairy, but minimal dairy. And it was a bit of trial and error. So really for 6 months, I would say I was pure carnivore. I did have transitional issues. Funny, I didn't think I would going from keto to carnivore, but I definitely did. And it took me, I would say, a good 10 to 12 weeks for my gut to, yes, right itself. Pretty amazing, isn't it? I had no idea it would take that long. And as I was just kept getting told, it just meant that, I needed to really do it. So I was quite fortunate that we were all in lockdown because there were times when, I had to go very quickly to the toilet. And, but that did right itself. I did stick with it. I was really confident in the diet, and I knew, like any diet, it would take the time to transition, and I just had to stick with it, and it would right itself, and it did. So.
Awesome. That's good to know for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last question I want to ask you, and I want you to expand on this a little bit, with the Hashimoto's, can you tell us how that has improved and how did it affect your life besides it being a shock that you were actually, diagnosed with that? That is kind of shocking because of, your low carb ketogenic lifestyle.
Yeah, so I thought I was going through menopause. That's what took me to get, to explore it. I was getting a lot of hot flushes, well, what I thought were hot flushes, but were actually heat from the food allergies, really, from predominantly what we think was actually the egg whites. And I'd go to bed every night and I would just have this intense heat in my body. My sleep, leading up for a couple of years really was just really average. I had muscle soreness, but it was really the heat and the tiredness that were kind of the two biggest issues. And, I think we kind of, well, I did, I sort of, oh, I'm a mom, we're always tired, right? But I thought, well, I'm nearly 48. Well, at the time, 47. I need to go and just see, am I going through menopause? But it wasn't. It was the Hashimoto's that was picked up. And, now for me, it's just, all my thyroid panel has totally normalized. I sleep really well. I have no heat. I'm eating eggs now. Like as I said, I did reintroduce them slowly, and have no problem with having them now. Yeah, I feel fantastic and thriving. I guess, and I think if I think about it back, I had a lot of this going on in my 30s. So I think going low carb really did help to fix much of the issues. I had a lot of the dry skin and the flake, and the thinning hair, um, all that stuff that I look back that did right itself when I went low carb keto, but obviously not enough. I needed to do the gut healing that was so important to do, and yeah, so definitely feeling fantastic.
I love hearing that. That is awesome. And Hashimoto's is something that is becoming more and more common, and so to know that there is a possible way to improve on that is wonderful. So, Tracy, thank you so much for coming on and telling us about your story.
It's such a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Tracy. Bye.
Bye.